Clerk.
Oral questions by members.
Third Party House Leader.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. In recent years, devastating floods and extreme wildfires in BC have killed countless people, destroyed hundreds of homes, displaced tens of thousands of people, and caused billions of dollars in destruction. It's undeniable. The climate emergency is slowly destroying our ways of life. Yet this government has consistently shown it's not prepared to protect people from the impacts of climate change, nor are they ready to transform the extractive economy that got us here. This year's budget provided no mention of increased spending for the province's nascent flood plan or for reduced wildfire risks. My question through the Speaker is to the Minister of Energy. Your own Climate Solutions Council warned that the province is not prepared for the threats that climate change pose to communities and the economy. What is the Minister's response to them? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Minister of Energy.
Well, thank you, Honourable Speaker, and the Climate Solutions Council, which is established by legislation, plays an important role in providing recommendations for change and working with us to see that that change is implemented, and we've consistently done that. You see that in the clean electricity requirement, which has been given life since the most recent Parliament was put into place with renewable energy projects across BC. You see it in the low carbon fuel standard, which we've used to expand not just our climate agenda, but to support jobs in different parts of the province. We've seen it, Honourable Speaker, in the output-based pricing system, which we support in British Columbia and continue to support. We see it in January 1st when we put in new methane regulations, that BC is leading Canada in the reduction of such emissions in the oil and gas industry by 43% since 2015. In short, by working together, we're making progress, and it's why, Honourable Speaker, because under the Clean BC plan, we need to make more progress, both in the commitment of people and the opportunity of people to contribute to solutions on climate change. It's why we've moved forward our review of that plan and are working with the Honourable Member and his party on a review of this plan, which I hope we will be announcing shortly.
Member Supplemental.
If this government is serious about recovering healthcare costs from wrongdoers, they must look at the role of fossil fuel companies in BC's health costs. Fossil fuel air pollution is a leading cause of early death in Canada, killing 34,000 Canadians each year. The 2021 heat dome cost the province upwards of $5 billion. And smoke from wildfires leads to respiratory, heart, and other conditions that require hospitalization and increased healthcare costs. Just like the tobacco industry, fossil fuel companies have engaged in misinformation campaigns to discourage governments from enacting laws that would save lives. My question, through you, Mr. Speaker, is to the Attorney General. Will this government demand accountability and compensation from the oil and gas industry so that citizens aren't left bearing the costs? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm really proud of the work our government has done and led the way in terms of national class actions. We've led the way on tobacco, we've led the way on opioids, and had success at every level of the court system here in BC, and that's a BC-led initiative that we can all be proud of. Recently, I was able to announce one of the largest settlements ever against tobacco, big tobacco. And that would mean $3.7 billion coming into BC healthcare right here. The tools that we have under the Healthcare Cost Recovery Act are very important. Although, as Attorney General, I'm not going to indicate in the House right now what would be future litigation opportunities or where we will use the tools that we've developed. But what I will say is that I'm very proud of the work we've done so far on behalf of British Columbians, and it's something we can all be proud of. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Chilliwack, Cultus Lake.
Through you, Mr. Speaker, to the Minister of Health. How many doses of prescribed alternative opioids did this government hand out between 2022 and 2024?
Minister of Health.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you to the member for the question. Talking about the prescribed alternative program, which is a valued part of our government's approach, one of many tools that we are using to separate people from the effects of the toxic drug supply. Mr. Speaker, prescribed alternatives are literally medicine for people that help save lives while they work with their care providers and prescribers to move on to other forms of assistance like opioid agonist therapy. Mr. Speaker, we've recently made changes, as the House knows, to the prescribed alternatives program, moving into witnessed consumption as a way of balancing public health priorities. Mr. Speaker, we know that prescribed alternatives need to be used by the people for whom they are intended, and that's why we've moved the program this way. Thank you.
Member for Kootenay Rockies.
It's my birthday and you forget me. It's okay. To the Minister of Mining and Critical Minerals, how long has the Seashell Carbonite mine been undergoing permitting in BC?
Minister of Mines.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Thanks to the member for the question. Honourable Speaker, we have a very rigorous process, assessment process when we talk about mining sector, Mr. Speaker, and to make sure we have public safety and high-level environmental safety, Mr. Speaker. I cannot, Mr. Speaker, comment on the individual case. I will be happy to talk to the member, Mr. Speaker. If member want to talk to me about that particular case, I can provide, of course, the member the information, so I will be happy to talk to the member about that.
Member for Langley Willowbrook.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister of Social Development and Poverty Reduction, what is the average wait time for seniors who applied for long-term care in BC?
Minister of Social Development and Poverty Reduction. It's taking on notice.
Mr. Speaker, long-term care is not in my file, but I will say that absolutely any time that a member of the public seeks service from our government, we do everything we can to get them connected as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Member for Delta South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, 8 years have gone by with no signs of the George Massey Tunnel ever being replaced. To the Minister of Infrastructure, how much have you spent on the Massey Tunnel replacement even before the environmental assessments have been completed?
Minister of Transportation. Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Work is underway on the George Massey Tunnel, Honourable Speaker. It is funded by the provincial government. We are working with the federal government to get a significant contribution to that project, which was going to improve transportation throughout the Lower Mainland by being able to take dangerous goods under there, Honourable Speaker. It's a project that has been approved by local government, Honourable Speaker. We know that the other side of the House, again, doesn't seem to want the project to go ahead, but this side is committed to being building the project. Work is underway in terms of design preparation, Honourable Speaker. As I told the House the other day, in response to a question where they said there were engineering and technical issues, that was not the case, Honourable Speaker, that the engineering and technical issues are...
Minister will conclude.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. The project is being built and we're going to get it done.
Member for Langley Abbotsford.
To the Minister of Transportation, how many people died in fatal crashes in British Columbia in 2023?
Minister of Transportation.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. One death, Honourable Speaker, in a crash is too many. That's why this ministry focuses on ensuring that our highways are safe, with incredible staff who do an amazing job. That's why we've strengthened the number of commercial vehicle safety enforcement officers, Honourable Speaker. That's why we are making investments right across this province in terms of dealing with issues on our highways and our side roads, identifying priorities, making sure they're funded. That's why there's $15 billion of capital projects across this province to improve transportation, Honourable Speaker, and make our roads and highways safer. And we are going to continue to do that kind of work, Honourable Speaker, because it's important for the province of British Columbia.
Member for Caribou-Chilcotin.
To the Minister of Agriculture, how much more is household spending on food this year as compared to last year?
Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think that the cost of food and where we're sourcing it is of great interest right now to British Columbians. I don't have that fact on me today, but what I can say is that as we look over this year, and I expect the coming years, there's been a fundamental shift in the way that people are shopping and they're trying to support British Columbia producers. We are focused in on trying to make sure that we're supporting farmers so they can produce more. We're looking to support food processors so they can process more and get more BC and Canadian food onto those shelves. And we see that's what consumers are wanting these days.
Member for Richmond Queensborough.
To the Attorney General, what is the current vacancy rate for Crown prosecutors in BC?
Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We've been making record investments in our justice system. I'm really proud to note a few things. We are almost at full complement when it comes to our Supreme Court and our Court of Appeal. Our provincial court is fully complement with our judges. And Crown Counsel, we were able to hire 40 new Crown Counsel over the last couple years. And so we are continuing to staff up our Crown Counsel, and from the BC Prosecution Service note to me, we have full complement. Thank you.
Member for Penticton Summerland.
Thank you. To the Minister of Children and Family Development, how many children in MCFD's care are currently missing?
Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and I want to thank the member opposite for the question. The safety and well-being of children in this province is my top priority. Anytime a child is missing, that is very concerning for the family, for the caregiver, and for the people involved in the child care system. We have processes in place in our ministry. Anytime a child is in need of protection, I've provided the member opposite with the information around the policies and procedures in the Ministry of Children and Family Development. Frontline staff work with families with information. Information around children is protected under the Child, Family and Community Services Act. Always happy to work with the members opposite on this very issue.
Member for Chilliwack North.
Thank you. My question is also for the Minister of Children and Family Development. How many children have died in government care since 2017?
Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. As I've mentioned in this House before, any child that dies is devastating. We have provided the numbers. We publicly disclose the numbers of children who die in government care and children who die in general in this province publicly. Everybody has access to that information, including the members of this House, including the members of the public. I've provided with the member from Penticton a comprehensive breakdown of the number of children in care who have passed away. The coroner service publicly discloses the reasons for those deaths, and we've canvassed that pretty extensively in this House already, Honourable Speaker.
Member for Prince George Valemount.
To the Minister of Citizen Services, what percentage of rural British Columbians do not have access to high-speed internet?
Minister of Citizen Services.
Thank you for the question. Since 2017, we have invested $584 million towards expanding connectivity to rural, remote, and First Nation community, as well as along highways. So now 74% of rural homes have access to high-speed internet, compared to only 57% when we took office in 2017. So that's a vast improvement from 57% to 74%. And in 2017, only 66% of homes in First Nation community had access to high-speed internet services. The figure is now 83%, and that will grow to 96% when the current project in progress are completed, and that's anticipated in 2027.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Minister. Member for Surrey South.
To the Minister of Transportation, what is the fine for not paying for a ticket on the SkyTrain?
Minister of Transportation. Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, our SkyTrain system is going to grow by another 16 kilometres as we are investing $5.9 billion in building a brand new line on the city. And part and parcel of that expansion, Honourable Speaker, will be an expansion in the very important transit police who help keep security and safety on our transit system, Honourable Speaker. In fact, yesterday I met with the representative from the Transit Police Union to talk about ways in which we can...
Please conclude. Please continue.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. The member across the way says that talking about the great work that our transit police do on our transit system to keep people safe is pontificating, Honourable Speaker. Shame on that member. Those men and women do an incredibly important job, and they put their safety on the line every single day, Honourable Speaker. He may think it's pontificating talking about the great work that they do. This side of the House supports our transit police.
Member for West Vancouver Capilano.
Mr. Speaker, to the Minister of Education and Childcare, what was the infrastructure deficit for the Surrey School District as of June 2024?
Minister of Infrastructure.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. In Surrey, we have invested over $1 billion in Surrey School District since 2017, a historic investment. We have so far completed 19 projects, with 19 projects more underway, and this is in comparison to just to the years prior to our government taking office, when 0 new schools were built in the 4 years prior to 2017. So yes, there was absolutely an infrastructure deficit, and we're working hard each and every day to overcome that. Thank you.
Member for Abbotsford Mission.
To the Minister of Education and Childcare, how many people are currently on the wait list for $10 a day childcare?
Minister of Education.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and thank the member for the question, because we know how important it is to provide affordable, reliable, safe childcare to families all across the province. We have a number of ways we do that, Honourable Speaker. The $10 a day program that the member mentioned currently has over 16,000 seats in it. Just 2 weeks ago, I announced an additional 770 spaces. We are on track to meet our federal targets of 20,000 by spring next year. But that's not all we do, Honourable Speaker. We also provide support to 138,000 families through our fee reduction program, which has resulted in the reduction of costs on average $900 a month per families. This has brought childcare down from $47 a day when we formed government in 2017 to $19 a day on average. And we're going to keep going. Thank you.
Member for West Kelowna Peachland.
To the Minister of Emergency Management, what's the average insurance payout from disaster financial assistance for losses due to a wildfire?
Minister of Emergency Management.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. We know that communities across BC are finding challenges with flooding, with fire, and it's always so important for personal preparedness as well as government preparedness. For people, I recommend going to Prepared BC and looking at the information about addressing each of the hazards that different communities might face. One of them, one of the aspects that people should be looking at is getting home insurance. Fire insurance is readily available across BC, and people can look at optional coverage for things like overland water and earthquake coverage, which are very critical. Disaster financial assistance helps assist people coming back from an emergency in instances where there is no readily available insurance. I know that it's very important for personal preparedness, and I welcome any questions from the member on that.
Member for Richmond Centre.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. So far, only one minister answered our question, so let me try again. To the Minister of Emergency Management, how many evacuation alerts due to wildfires were there in 2024?
Minister.
Thank you. It's very important to coordinate response across different ministries.
Member.
I'm really quite disheartened that members opposite find emergency preparedness, keeping communities safe, protecting people in their time of emergency hilarious. The amount of laughter on the other side is shameful.
Members. Minister will continue.
Thank you very much. My ministry coordinates across ministries for different kinds of emergency, whether that's wildfire, whether that's flooding, whether that's landslides. Our ministry makes sure that those lines of communication are open, that we're protecting people, that we're showing up in communities and supporting them in their response and recovery. Thank you.
Member for Salmon Shuswap.
To the Minister of Water, Lands and Natural Resource Stewardship, how many new foreshore licenses have been processed or renewed since the 2024 election?
Minister.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and thank you so much for the question. It's water, land, and resource stewardship, not natural, but thank you for that. I can get that number for you.
Member for Peace River South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister of Energy, from 2018 to January 2025, how much did the government spend handing out stickers for EVs?
Minister of Energy.
Well, thank you, Honourable Speaker. And I think the achievement of British Columbians in leading Canada in buying new EVs and the impact that has on the economy. We're displacing gasoline, which is produced outside of BC, Honourable Speaker, with EVs that are powered by electricity that we make inside BC. Is a significant achievement. It's a significant achievement, for example, by the New Car Dealers Association, which has been a partner in that exercise, by BC Hydro, and by British Columbians. I think, and I hold the member in high regard, and I look forward to our further discussions in estimates debate. But I would say that these issues in our province are serious issues. The issues of climate change, the issues of economic development, of building a better province together. And I think in this House, in the questions we ask and the way we have exchanges, we should promote that dialogue and promote solutions and not engage, I think, Honourable Speaker, in games that don't serve the public interest.
Member for Kamloops North Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thanks for the reminder that this is question period, not answer period. To the Minister of Forests, how many sawmills and manufacturing facilities have been closed in the last 2 years?
Minister of Forests.
Mr. Speaker, at a time when we are under threat by Donald Trump, you have an official opposition that is completely out of touch. What an absolute embarrassment we are experiencing, whether it is the threat of our sovereignty, whether it is the impact on our softwood lumber, the impact on our forest sector, to have the members across the way waste valuable time holding government accountable to ask really dumb questions. I would ask the member opposite, use your time wisely. Ask us questions, hold us accountable, don't waste our time.
Member for North Island.
Not to waste anybody's time, but to the Minister of Health, what is the benchmark standard for emergency room wait times?
Minister of Health.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Thank you to the member for the question. We had the chance to canvass many detailed questions like this in estimates. Mr. Speaker, I don't think this is estimates. I think this is question period. Mr. Speaker, I think the members opposite know that cabinet ministers have a tremendous responsibility, that they oversee incredible resources, people, opportunities, programs, and that we are focused on making life better for British Columbians. Mr. Speaker, those are the subjects we should be canvassing in this House. That's what we should be talking about.
Member for Courtney Comox.
To the Minister of Health, with that non-answer, we know what the benchmark is around 4 hours. What percentage of ER visits even meet that low standard?
Minister.
Once again, Honourable Speaker, thank you to the member opposite for the question. I know that he and many others on the other side haven't had the privilege of sitting in Cabinet, haven't had the responsibility of being overseeing the programs and services that British Columbians depend on. They don't expect us to memorize numbers, Mr. Speaker. They expect us to do our jobs, and my job is to help strengthen the public universal healthcare system for British Columbians. I am willing, and I have made it abundantly clear to the member opposite, that I'm willing to work with him to sit down and talk about solutions. Mr. Speaker, those are the conversations I want to be having with the opposition, with all members of this House. It's the work that I was sent here to do and that I am going to stay focused on. Thank you.
Member for Skeena.
Thank you. To the Minister of Health, this is a question that you should know the answer to. How many treatment beds are there in the Northern Health region?
Minister.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Yes, we did canvass this. And you know what, Mr. Speaker, I don't have that number memorized, so I'm not going to say a number that I might get wrong. I will get it back to the member. We have canvassed that in estimates. I can tell her that we have added over 750 treatment and recovery beds since we formed government in 2017. I can tell the member that we have over 3,700 publicly funded beds here in British Columbia. Mr. Speaker, I can also tell the member, because we discussed this in estimates, that there are not enough services for people up north, that we know there is more work to do to serve people who live in remote and rural communities. My commitment is to continue to expand those services. Mr. Speaker, we will be expanding Road to Recovery into the northwest part of British Columbia because we know that people living in those communities need accesses to services like that. Mr. Speaker, I remain committed to that work and I'm here to do it.
Member for Kamloops Centre.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, today we've had questions asked of, by my count, 21 ministers. 21 ministers, and we've had one minister even come close to answering a question that they were asked under their file, and it was the Minister of Citizen Services. We got a lecture from the Minister of Forests because we had the temerity to ask a question of how many sawmills have closed under his watch. And instead of remotely answering the question, he said, and I quote, "Holding government accountable is a waste of time." We asked the minister responsible for kids in care, how many kids are currently missing? No answer.
Question, member.
How many kids? Well, Mr. Speaker, with your indulgence, we've asked 10-second questions today and had to endure 3-minute non-answers, so I'll just be a second. No answer on how many kids have died. You would think that a government that is supposed to be focused on results would actually know what the results they're trying to drive towards actually are, Mr. Speaker. But this government, from sawmill closures to ER closures to ER wait times, childcare wait lists for childcare, kids missing, kids who have died, wildfire costs, no answer. No relevance from their answers whatsoever because they simply do not know where they're trying to drive while we have record deficits in British Columbia, Mr. Speaker. So again, my question to the government is a simple one. When can we expect this government to actually start publishing, start providing to the public, to the opposition, because it's not a waste of time to hold the government accountable, actual benchmark deliverables that the ministers are actually responsible for and driving towards, which are supposed to be in their mandate letters, but apparently they consider all of that a waste of time, and how dare we ask them what they are actually delivering on for British Columbia.
Thank you. Government House Leader.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. And what we saw today from the opposition shows exactly why they deserve to be over there, Honourable Speaker. They know full well, and that member knows full well, the estimates process details with detailed questions every single time we're in the estimates, which we are right now, that those questions get answered. He knows full well that the
members.
Know the file, Honourable Member. Every single member on this side of the House knows what the file is. Every single member knows it's about making life more affordable for British Columbians. Every single member knows it's about building the infrastructure, whether it's hospitals in Fort St. James, hospitals in Terrace, roads like the Patola, or bridges like the Patola Bridge. Every single member knows what their job is. It's about making sure we maintain a public health care system, Honourable Speaker. And Honourable Speaker, Honourable Speaker, we answer questions on those every single day. But you know, when it comes to questions, Honourable Speaker, we saw them during the election campaign. Half their members wouldn't show up to an all-candidates meeting, Honourable Speaker. Their leader, Honourable Speaker, would hold press conferences and refuse to take a supplemental. Would only take questions.
Members, be quiet, please. That's enough. Members, come to order. Please conclude.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. And I'll tell you something else, Honourable Speaker. No one on this side of the House had to throw out their campaign signs because they decided they couldn't win with the party they were running and ran with another party.
The bell and the question period.